for your hands. Cameras in the back of the car too, okay? So we got to be recorded in there too. We're gonna go on this side. He's gonna swap out handcuffs. Yeah.
New video of a large fire along the railroad tracks just outside of Snohomish that we've been following. This burned a trestle near Airport Way on Tuesday. One person was taken to the hospital for evaluation. No word yet on the cause.
It's amazing that people have come together and done this.
I'm seeing notes in various languages from people who knew her, from people who didn't know her.
Mourners are filling University of Washington's campus, covering Red Square with messages demanding justice for Juniper Blessing, the 19-year-old transgender student stabbed to death Sunday night in the laundry room of an off-campus UW housing complex.
It really shook me because, I do work here at the UW campus.
It's horrible.
Sylvia is a student.
And I just didn't know how to feel. It's awful.
It's been really hard on me, and I'm sure the entire community of UW, the trans and queer community of UW.
Day after day, support keeps showing up on campus.
Beautiful chalk art, the trans flag all over Red Square.
It does give me some hope, just the humanity shown by people here.
We need to make sure that this never happens again,
Today, Starbucks announced another round of layoffs. The company will cut 300 corporate jobs across the U.S. Regional support offices in Chicago, Atlanta, and the LA area will also be closed. No coffee house jobs are impacted. Earlier this week, Starbucks announced it will be eliminating 61 technology-related jobs at its support center here in Seattle. Those layoffs take effect June 20th. Starbucks CEO is making sweeping changes to streamline operations.
We have learned a fourth King County resident is being monitored after being possibly exposed to hantavirus linked to that outbreak on an international cruise ship. King County Public Health says this person was not on the ship but was on a plane along with an ill passenger who later tested positive for the virus. On Tuesday, we learned 2 other people were on that same plane at the end of April, as well as a third person who was actually on the ship. None of them has tested positive, but they are monitoring for any symptoms.
Watch concerned Falcon parents dive bomb a California researcher just trying to do her job. That job was tagging newborn peregrine falcon chicks that recently hatched on the roof of the San Jose City Hall. According to KGO, researchers say peregrine falcon populations are facing a steep decline due to avian flu. So tagging newly hatched chicks like these are part of a greater Bay Area effort to track and support the precious peregrine population. But the big birds don't know that, so you can forgive them for a little hostile helicopter parenting.
The The number of gray whale deaths in the state of Washington has now risen to 21 so far this year. That's the total as of Sunday, May 17th. Cascadia Research Collective says a whale was found in Grays Harbor County on Thursday, and just a day later, another was found in Pacific County. Officials say the record for the state is 35 strandings, which was recorded in 2019. A dead whale on Whidbey Island is now a potential crime scene after someone carved initials into the dead whale's skin. This video taken of the whale last week when it was found near North Sunset Beach. Marine mammals are protected under federal law even after death, and disturbing a carcass without a permit can be illegal. NOAA enforcement is now being directed to handle the investigation.
Well, you made it to Friday. Just a quick update out of Renton, which has paused its automated license plate reader program for the second time. The city council made that call earlier this month, putting the cameras on hold until council members can get some more answers about how they're actually being used and what data is being collected. The cameras were first turned off back in March. That was to make sure that they complied with new state privacy regulations. Then they were turned back on in April. Renton's police chief released a statement pushing back on the council's most recent decision, calling the cameras an extremely valuable investigative tool.
This man was going for a stroll to the beach when he accidentally crashed a fashion show by the menswear brand Commas during Australian Fashion Week. The videos have blown up on social media, with users calling the man a legend and icon. One user stating only in Australia. The man even caught the eye of paparazzi, making him an overnight, unintentional celebrity, and a show guests will never forget.
New images overnight also show severe damage from an RV fire on eastbound I-90. Eastside Fire and Rescue says this was near Snoqualmie Pass just after 10 o'clock last night. They show multiple firefighters working on a nearly destroyed RV. They have not yet said what caused the fire or if anyone was injured.
This weekend marks the 10th anniversary of a very sad event here in Thurston County. It's the last time anyone saw Logan Schindelman alive. It was in May of 2016 when the then 19-year-old just vanished. People found his car abandoned on I-5, actually moving on I-5, and he was not in it, but his cell phone, his wallet, and some cash was found inside the car. So police don't know if he ran away or if there was foul play. His family is just desperate for some answers. They're holding a vigil this afternoon with some photos. There are going to be some speeches from the sheriff and detectives who refuse to give up hope on this one. There's a $15,000 reward. If you know anything about Logan Schindelman's case, Thurston County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you.
Seattle gets to see Amtrak's biggest upgrades in decades before the rest of the country. The new Amtrak Cascades Aero train sets include larger panoramic windows, wider aisles, increased capacity to about 300 seats per train, which is nearly 50% more capacity compared to the current trains. There's also USB-C charging ports in every seat. Sorry, Lightning fans. As well as upgraded food service and more ADA seats and restrooms. Passengers who ride from Portland to Seattle up to Vancouver get to experience it first, starting this fall.
And the mood was reserved. The focus was on security and privacy. No cameras were allowed inside the vigil itself, as organizers wanted the focus to be on Juniper. Seattle police say 19-year-old Juniper Blessing, a transgender woman and UW student studying atmospheric science, was found stabbed to death on her off-campus housing. This was Sunday night. Police arrested 31-year-old Christopher Leahy after investigators released surveillance video images earlier in the week. He ended up surrendering himself. Court documents say Blessing suffered more than 40 stab wounds. A judge has now set bail at $10 million. UW leaders say the campus continues to grieve the loss of what they call a promising and talented member of the community. The suspect is expected back in court on Monday. Seattle police are asking anyone with any information about this alleged crime to come forward.
The final oil tanker from the Persian Gulf delivered its shipment here at the port of Long Beach. This was the last planned oil shipment to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. With the ongoing war in Iran, we just don't know when the next one will arrive here in California. This will have widespread impacts not just here, but across the country.
Once it hit me in the head, I just blanked out for a quick second. I didn't know what had happened. I thought someone caught the ball. I didn't realize it came back towards me, and I was just freaking out. My friends were concerned. Everyone around me was concerned, but thankfully the staff was very quick to respond to everything and took care of me. The fact that everyone was telling me that they heard the crack, the ball sounded like it hurt, which it did, and I just wanted to watch the game, and I didn't want to go to the ER, but everyone around me was like, you need to go get checked.
Check out these loads of aluminum cans. Enterprise Elementary and Federal Way won a statewide recycling contest, collecting more than 1,300 pounds of aluminum cans. Close behind and second by only 20 pounds was Medina Academy in Redmond. Together, these two Washington schools recycled 95,410 cans. This was all part of the Million Cans Recycling Contest you may remember from King 5 Weekend Mornings. It's a nationwide movement started by Recycling Society based on the East Side.
So this just popped in my feed yesterday. Wanted to share great video from WashDOT on the ongoing work along the North Cascades Highway following that rock slide at milepost 131. This is near Diablo Lake. This was on March 17th. How would you like this job? Crews were hoping to have it shored up and ready to open by Memorial Day, but now say they're targeting the 4th of July, and you can see why.
Seattle prices are surging.
Broccoli is the highest I've ever seen it.
Prices climbed nearly 5% over the last year, and while energy and gas prices do play a role in all of this, experts say some of the biggest hikes are coming from some unexpected categories.
I've seen price increases before, obviously, but this year they've been drastic.
Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the Seattle area is feeling it. Inflation here rose 4.9% over the last year. Eating out rose more than 7%, apparel nearly 15%, and recreational activities about 8%.
And most of these changes in these other categories have not taken place in the last 2 months. Gasoline prices will come down.
Data shows grocery prices in the Seattle area rose less than 1% over the last year.
With produce, that's a supply and demand.
But some individual items have seen massive swings.
Broccoli is the highest I've ever seen it, primarily due to weather.
For shoppers and store owners alike, it's not just the higher prices, it's how unpredictable they've become. And while economists say eventually there could be relief at the pump once tensions in the Middle East calm down, other things, those prices, once they rise, he says that they tend to stay there. Reporting live in Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
And to the people that hack Canvas, if y'all could unhack it for like 5 minutes, 2. At best, 2 minutes is all I need.
This is Asha Kelly, one of millions of students who were locked out of Canvas, an education platform used by thousands of schools to post course materials, submit assignments and more, after a hacker group took down the service.
All my classes are on Canvas, so anything from assignments to announcements to homework to grades.
I would say it's affecting, if not everyone, then next to everyone.
The attack came at a time when many students are taking their final exams. As a result, some have had final assignments and tests postponed, with some not sure when they'll be rescheduled.
All of a sudden, finals are moved until Monday, and you're kind of like, what the heck is happening? As a senior graduating, you're really unsure of, like, I thought I was done, and then now we're still going.
You know, they're super stressed that they won't have time to prepare for their exams, or things will overlap, or they just don't know how things will get done.
Students also expressed their frustration on TikTok, but others seemed pleased about the unexpected break.
When we first found out that Canvas had been hacked, everyone was initially really excited because we knew that our assignments and midterms would probably be postponed a little bit.
I guess I felt pretty excited once I realized that my paper would probably be pushed back, that my friends would get some free time and we'd get to hang out.
On Friday morning, Canvas said its service was fully back online and available for use. However, some universities have yet to restore access for students and teachers.
This motorcycle collided with a car at an intersection in Canada, leaving it dangling from a traffic light pole, according to authorities. Police said in a statement that the motorcyclist suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital. The driver of the car was not hurt. Speed is believed to be a contributing factor in the crash, according to police.
What is going on with Cal Raleigh, the big dumper right now, Paul? I mean, just should we be concerned right now with the man that you and I thought should be MVP, and he is just struggling big time right now? Paul, he hasn't got a hit in his last 36 plate appearances. Let me repeat that. He hasn't got a single hit in his last 36 plate appearances. Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times talked with him after the game yesterday. He says it's been really ugly. He hit .220 last season through 41 games. Right now, Paul, he's batting .161.
Listen, Cal Raleigh hasn't had a hit since April 26th when he hit a home run in that game. That's how bad it's been for him. We've talked about the soreness that Cal Raleigh's been dealing with, and he missed a few games there, and there was kind of this blur of what was really wrong with Cal, and he thought initially it was just soreness. But, Chris, I said this when he was hurt, and I thought, and the way he was struggling, I'm like, this is a guy, I think, who's playing through some pain, and he refuses. He loves to play, doesn't want to be out of the lineup, and he refuses to come off the field. And I think at some point you have to protect players from themselves. And because Cal has this determination and he's so diligent about playing every day, and he's so important, as you and I have talked about, behind the plate, you know, playing defensively, calling these games for these pitchers, that he wants to be in there, and the Mariners need him in there for that. But I still think there's something wrong with Cal injury-wise, and that he could stand a stint on the IL. I think he's playing through some pain and he needs a break.
Edmond police need your help identifying 8 suspects connected to a series of car prowls. Police say overnight on May 6th, the group was caught on surveillance video inside 2 parking garages, entering vehicles and tampering with locks. You can see some of those photos there, and now we've just switched here to a map to give you a better idea of where these 2 garages are. They belong to 2 different apartment complexes just blocks away from each other. There's one on Tagore Avenue Northeast. The other is on 152nd Avenue Northeast. And police believe these incidents may be connected to even more car prowls reported that same night.
This dog is safe and sound after being saved from a raging house fire. Body cam captured the moment Westminster, Colorado police officers rush into a burning home in search of the dog. According to the Westminster police, the owner and his other dog escaped, leaving the second dog trapped inside. The first responders quickly located the frightened animal, able to grab on and guide it through a smoke-filled doorway to safety outside, where it was reunited with its owner. No dogs or humans were hurt during the rescue.
The Seattle Sounders and Seattle Reign are contributing to the FIFA World Cup celebrations by unveiling a first-of-its-kind floating stage. It's a floating soccer pitch on top of a barge. This is what it'll look like. It's going to be anchored in Elliott Bay, right along the waterfront park at Pier 62. Much of the same technology on display for the tournament's fan experiences will be on the barge, including a massive screen where World Cup matches will be broadcast live. No word yet on how much it'll cost.
You're saying the emphasis was not on safety and quality control?
No.
The emphasis was on what?
Making money.
3 months ago, the King 5 investigators exposed serious violations at Equita. State health records allege unsafe drug compounding, illegal importation of GLP-1 ingredients from China, and the hiring of unlicensed workers, including day laborers from Home Depot parking lots. Interviews and health department records show a pharmacy recklessly manufacturing diet drugs that were shipped out to thousands of patients each day.
And people were injecting themselves with that stuff. That's not safe.
It makes it easier for them to pick whatever price they want.
We've been trying to interview Myra Ahmad since our first story about Mochi Health in February. There are several inconsistencies we'd love to clear up, a spokesperson wrote in March before he stopped responding to our requests.
Milton's police chief isn't shying away from the data, saying the system has generated more than $803,000 across 15,000 citations. Chief Tony Hernandez says the numbers are already telling an interesting story.
What we're seeing in the numbers is we're able to determine where these individuals live that are coming through. And so by the registration of the vehicle, we know that they are people from outside the city that are transiting through here that are receiving most of the infractions.
The city also making it clear, under state law, all revenue collected must go back into projects focused on improving driver and pedestrian safety.
They'll get you. If we saw some improvements in the city with that money, I don't think the residents would be quite as upset with it.